Hi, recovery mom here, and I've always said hi.
Hi.
Eva's just over there playing League.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make a little video today and talk about a couple things. I wanted to talk about maybe why we feel such an aversion to fats and why we all, by all, most in the eating disorder community, tend to be afraid of fats. And there's a reason for that. It's not just, some cultural thing. And I kind of also want to talk about why we feel like we have to be moving all the time, because, most of us, I won't say all, do feel the need to be constantly moving. And I also wanted to make sure that I was talking to you from a perspective where you could kind of see a normal human body. I feel like a lot of times we click on recovery content and it's usually a very slender body giving you this kind of information. And a post-recovery body often does not look like that really skinny, fit body. It often looks like, a body with rolls and curves and thighs and arms, and, we have normal bodies. And I kind of want to normalize that while we have our little recovery chats. So the first thing I want to kind of talk about is maybe why most of us feel like we are afraid of fats. And I will say, I was extremely afraid of fats in recovery and all throughout my eating disorder. And they were the last thing to go, especially like oils and mayonnaise. Mayonnaise was absolutely my last fear food. And my therapist really pushed olive oil for quite a while. And I don't like olive oil. I like avocado oil, but just oil in general. She really pushed putting that in my diet at a certain point. And it was a struggle. We're all afraid of those things. And I'll start by saying we have a hormone in our body called ghrelin. And this hormone, ghrelin, increases. And when it increases, it makes us want to eat fat. So having that hormone increased in a normal person, that would make you want to search out for fats. So in a normal starving body, okay, if you did not have an eating disorder and you had a normal starving body, your ghrelin would increase, and that would make you want to seek out fats and eat fats. That's a normal response to starvation, right? It would be normal for a starving body to want to reach out and get all the fats that they could to satisfy what they're missing in their body. However, when you have an eating disorder, when you have anorexia, your ghrelin actually decreases, okay? And that decrease in that hormone makes you kind of have an aversion to fats. It makes you feel like you don't want fats, you don't need fats, they're not for you, they're for other people. And so that hormone reduction is happening because you have anorexia. It doesn't happen in a normal starving body. It happens in a person with anorexia who goes into energy deficit. So you need to reverse that. You need to get that ghrelin secreting and increased again. And unfortunately, the only way to do that is to get back to your set point and eat through the fear and to eat the fats even when you feel like you don't need them, okay? Our hormones are all wonky when we have an eating disorder. Our neurotransmitters are all messed up. And the only way, I know. You want to see everybody? And the only way to get those back normalized, he's a very needy dog. I made the mistake of petting him, Eva, and now it's all over. So the only way to get those hormones back regulated and back in the right, flowing in the right direction, secreting properly, is to eat as if you're not in a famine anymore. And by that, I mean you have to wake up and eat breakfast. And I know that sucks. In recovery, I never wanted to eat breakfast, ever. Breakfast was the last thing I wanted to do. It was one of the last things that I tackled. In fact, I did not start eating my meals until dinner time. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are the same. But if you wake up and don't eat breakfast, you're telling your body that you're still in a famine. You're teaching your brain that the famine environment is still active around you. And we want to do the opposite. Now, if you didn't have anorexia, you could skip breakfast all the time. Absolutely. When you're recovered, you can skip breakfast. I am not a big breakfast eater now that I'm recovered. It's just not kind of like a time when I'm usually hungry. So many days I don't eat breakfast. I usually eat my first snack at work around 10:30 in the morning. On a weekend, you know, maybe more toward 11 or 12. But my entire time in recovery, I had to fight that breakfast habit, and I had to eat breakfast every day because it's the only way to teach your brain you're not in a famine anymore. And so that is very important to do. And then you have to eat multiple times through the day. You have to get back to your set point and you have to stay there a while. And that's what will turn all those hormones back the other way. And of course, if you've had an eating disorder for a long time, even when you do that, you still have to neurally rewire all those habits and all those thoughts that you've taught your brain over the years. So that would be why we're afraid, why we have an aversion to fats, okay? Now let's talk about why we feel like we have to be moving all the time. And we do. It's no coincidence that we all feel like we have to like run up and down stairs, why we're all doing sit-ups in our room, why we're all like runners and gym rats. And like, I lived at the gym. I was at the gym on Easter. I picked a gym that was open 365 days a year. I would go twice a day. I would force my kids to go. It was ridiculous. I went to the point where I was so emaciated, I was embarrassed to be in there, yet I could not control it. The need to go was primal. The need to work out was primal. The need to move our bodies is primal. And the reason it is because we are trying to migrate. Our bodies are having an evolutionary response, okay? And they're trying to migrate. And you know, once upon a time, a long time ago, that would have been an appropriate response, right? To famine. If we went into energy deficit and we went into a famine, everybody else's body would have slowed down, not wanted to move, been fearful. But the people with anorexia became more energetic. They wanted to move. They didn't see fat on their bodies, right? They felt better if they were restricted. Those are all things that would make you be able to migrate better than everyone else in your tribe or band. So that's why you feel this way. And there's actually a hypersecretion of a hormone called CRH. Let's see if I can, it's the corticotropin releasing hormone, and it's CRH for short. And when you don't have an eating disorder, that hormone is not hyperly secreted, right? When you don't have an eating disorder and you're starving, your body wants to slow down and you don't want to run around all the time. However, when you do have anorexia, when you do have an eating disorder, that hormone is hypersecreted. It is going crazy. And that hormone makes you, it like maintains and intensifies this physical hyperactivity that you have and this need to move. And so there's actually a hormonal reason in your body. And coincidentally, this hormone is also related to amenorrhea, okay, and for loss of periods. So there's actual hormonal reasons why you are feeling the need to move. You are not just feeling the need to move out of nowhere or because you want to control your environment. Those symptoms, feeling like you need to control things, those come after the genetic switch gets turned on. Okay, people often confuse that and think that that comes first and that causes anorexia. That is not what causes anorexia. That is a symptom that comes after, okay? And we all often feel that way. Oh, so in front of the fireplace. Look at him. Oh, he's so cute. Anyway, so this hormone gets hypersecreted and it makes you feel like you need to move. It intensifies your physical activity. And so there's actual reasons in your body why you feel this way. So you need to know that. That's super important to know, because like so many people just say, well, just stop running, or why are you doing that? And there's actual reasons in your body why you feel this need and why we do the things that we do. Okay, you're not just out there running for, you know, I don't know, what is that term? Shits and giggles, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You actually have some shifts in your body and your neurotransmitters in your hormones making you feel this way, making you be afraid of fats, making you feel like you need to run. So we know this now. There's scientific research showing this, but that doesn't change what we have to do to fix it and to make it get better. Both dogs are literally staring at the door. They're like, done. Anyway, that does not change what you have to do to get rid of your eating disorder. The things you have to do to get out of this mess is the same. And unfortunately, you didn't ask for an eating disorder, right? It was just a genetic predisposition that you had in your body. And a long time ago, it would have saved your family. That genetic predisposition, that evolutionary adaptation would have literally, I would have saved you, Eva. I would.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
You're welcome. But it would have been such an amazing thing a long time ago. But now we're not in a real famine environment. Now the famine is caused by, I don't know, getting sick or the flu or what is going on? Getting sick or getting the flu or getting COVID and going into energy deficit because you can't eat. Dieting and going into energy deficit. Working out a little too much, you know, when you join a sports team and not eating enough and going into energy deficit. There's many, many ways that our body goes into energy deficit and to turn on that evolutionary switch. But once that happens, now you have anorexia. Now your hormones are all messed up, right? They're making you fear fats. They're making you be afraid to eat. They're making you feel like you have to move all the time. But it's your job to turn them around the other way. And it's your job to dig yourself out of this. Unfortunately, I know it sucks. You didn't want this thing. You're not doing it to piss off your parents. You're not doing this to get attention from people. This is not why you have anorexia. You have anorexia because all of these things shifted in your body once that switch was turned on. So to get it switched the other way, you have to eat. Unfortunately, I know it's now become your biggest fear, you know, but unfortunately we have to face our biggest fear to get through it. And so you have to eat. You have to eat all the time. You have to start with breakfast. Like I said, you have to eat every 2 and I used to set an alarm every 2.5 hours and eat. That's what you have to do to get out of it. You have to eat in the morning. You have to eat all day. And many of us binge eat in the middle of the night, right? We eat in the middle of the night. You're going to have to get up and eat in the middle of the night. And guess what? You're going to have to wake up in the morning and you're going to have to eat again. And you have to do it until. You have to do it until. It's not just a week. It's not just 2 weeks. You have to do it for a very long time. You have to do it every day. You have to do it until you reach your set point. Once you reach your set point, you're not done. You have to maintain your set point for long enough that all those hormones start shifting back and your genetic switch turns off. And once that happens, even if you have some neural wiring to do, even if you have some habits that you have and some fears about, you know, your body size and stuff like that, it'll be so much easier to fight. It will be so much easier to fight that because that genetic switch will be turned off and it will just become much, much, much easier to neural rewire. So, any thoughts on that, Eva? No thoughts. And the dogs are ready to go. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to leave you there. There is a hormonal reason your ghrelin is out of whack, and that is why you're afraid of fats. There is a hormonal reason, you know, the CRH, I believe it's called. There's a reason why you feel like you need to run and work out at the gym and manically do sit-ups in your bedroom at night when nobody's watching. There's a reason that you feel this way. But the way out is by eating and eating regularly, and most importantly, gaining to your set point, and only your body knows your set point, and then maintaining there. And that's it. I'm gonna do, I don't know, a little yoga now, maybe not. Maybe I'll just eat my cookies and dip them in my coffee, which Louisa thinks is disgusting. Belly. What do you think about that? Belly? Like cookies? Oh, Belly came over because there's cookies. All right. Bye, everybody. I hope that helped a little bit. If you have any questions, put them down below. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.